Welcome to Not So PG. I'm Brooke Blurton. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm Maddie Mills. My pronouns are he and him. We'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record. Today, we are both on Wurundjeri country in the Eora Nation. Here in Naarm.
Yes. Welcome to Melbourne.
So, can I just get this correct? Naarm?
Melbourne.
Like Metro Melbourne? Like everywhere in Melbourne?
Yeah.
Yeah, deadly. Like Eora. Mm-hmm. Yeah, deadly. Thought so. Just wanted to confirm. But yeah, we pay our respects to their elders, both past and present.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Just painting the picture. It's Sunday, post a music concert. Mm-hmm. We're both a little bit dusty.
Dusty.
And, you know, that's what you do for work.
Yes.
But we wanted to talk about this episode of the things that you've done to get out of work.
Get out of work. Oh, okay. This is a good one. There have been many things that I could bring up that I've done to get out of work. I once thought that I could fake draw a wound on my arm with a red pen and take a photo of it and send it to a boss to say that I wanted to get out of work. This was when I was really young, like 15. 15 at a takeaway shop. I thought that if I drew like a red line and said that I had burnt myself or something, that I could take a photo of it and send it in and they would believe me.
Did it work?
I didn't do it, but I thought that was a great idea. I remember thinking, how can I get out of this shift? Well, maybe if I've hurt my arm and I could like... Can you just imagine the boss getting that picture of like...
Well, the thing is, I think of like the kids that I work with and the things that they do to get out of school.
Yes.
And I've done a few things to get out of school, but this is like, you know, you're a full grown like adult and this is the things that you've gone to get out of work.
Yeah.
And I think, but they will do anything. They're like, I hurt my ankle, they'll limp. I have this one kid, right? He was like on the floor crying, oh, hurt my knee, it's busted. And he's had like an issue with his knee for a very long time. 10 minutes later, kicking the ball. Mm-hmm. Sorry, was your knee sore?
Yeah, was it that sort to be like hobbling around like you had just been hit by a car?
So dramatic though, so dramatic.
Yeah.
And like, so I think,
Or do you remember
children
when
are just
you'd go to
so
sick bay and you'd be like even if you had like a really sore stomach, you still wouldn't be like, oh, I'm really, really sore. But like when you go to sick bay, like the dramatics, the acting that comes out, it's like, what's wrong, Dal? And you're like, I feel really sick.
And they touch somewhere where it's just so not even like where you're sore and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, let me tell you something that's quite shocking.
Okay.
And this is like, I'm not proud of this, and I just want to say that this is a terrible lie that I should never have told, and I feel very sorry for the people that were involved, okay? I don't think anyone actually got hurt from this lie except myself, but when I first moved to my dad's, so year 5, going to this brand new school, I would have been around, I want to say like 10, 11 years old, 11, I want to say 11, and I had a crush on this girl. And she had a boyfriend at the time, and our school...
Ooh,
Scandal. And our school went to the cinemas as a excursion. I don't remember what film we're watching, but she said to me on the way there on the bus, you're next on my list. So she had a list of boyfriends, and Casey was above me, who she was going out with, and the next was she was going to try with me. It was like, basically like... She was trialling out some, you know, boyfriends that were in the...
So Maddie was in his straight era.
I was in my straight era, and her name was Alana Hutchins. Alana Hutchins, if that's you, if you're listening, shout out, girl.
She sends you a message. She's like, "Babe, you weren't the only one on the list.
And she
Calm
said,
down."
No, I wasn't. I saw the list. And she had a list. And basically we're on the bus and she told me I was next on the list, so I thought that I would...
So give me Bachelorette vibes.
I thought that I would shoot my shot at the cinema. So... I like held hands with her while she had a boyfriend, while Casey, who was on the name above me, she was seeing Casey at the time. Anyway, he found out about it and one day tackled me in the schoolyard and like full on like tried to bash me and then bullied me basically for like a couple of weeks after. And I was so over the bullying that I ended up one day faking sick because I was like, I don't want to go to school anymore and be bullied because I did the wrong thing and tried to like undercut him for this girl. And I was getting bullied by this fella, and then I went home one day and I thought, okay, tomorrow I'm just going to pretend to be sick. I don't want to go to school anymore. So I said to my dad, I have a sore stomach and I'm in a lot of pain. And he goes, okay, well, you can stay home. And then so I stayed home from school one day, and then the next day it wasn't getting any better. And I pretended that it got worse. So he took me to the doctors. And all of a sudden, long story short, I've gone from the doctors to the hospital bed, to surgery, and my appendix was taken out of my stomach. because I didn't want to go to school. So
Fucking kills me every time.
What happened is that I got to the hospital and I was so deep in this.
I can just imagine the dramatics, like him being like,
Yeah.
like touching it and being like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
Absolutely right. I got to the hospital bed and I thought to myself, I'm so deep in this lie, I'm going to have to lie to the fucking surgeon who came around and was prepping me for surgery. And once they said that I was
God.
getting my appendix out.
okay. At this point, were you just like, okay,
I was going
okay,
with
this
it,
lie is gone too far?
I dug myself in a hole and I had literally covered it with dirt.
and
I
there
was
was no
6
going
feet
back.
under and I was just ready to die. Like, the risks of surgery too, like, that didn't even come into my brain. It was just like, yep, okay, I'm going.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. But basically what happened was he said, the doctor came, he touched my stomach and I started crying. And so I started convinced myself that I had appendicitis. And then I had full surgery. And all I remember is coming out afterwards and was being like, okay, I've at least got 5 days in this hospital where I can get food, free food.
Yeah, jelly
I
cups
don't-
and ice cream.
And I don't have to go to school.
Oh, actually, no, that's for tonsillitis. Sorry, not appendicitis.
So I had my appendix out because I didn't want to go to school.
That is hilarious.
Isn't that fucked up?
But it's so funny because was there actually like legitimately anything wrong with your appendix?
Well, funny you ask. The surgeon comes to my bed after and says, oh, we're so glad that we got that out while we could because it was so inflamed. And all I thought to myself was, you lying motherfucker. Like,
But maybe it actually was.
He wanted to cover his own ass. He opened my stomach up and looked at it and went, nothing's wrong with that. But then pretended, I reckon. I reckon he took it out. And he was like, we're already here. We might as well just get it out. Yeah, that's what I reckon. And then he came to the bed and he goes, your appendix was really inflamed. And all I thought to myself was, should I tell him? Should I break him the news that, like, nothing was wrong?
You're like, I know what's right.
Gotcha. Gotcha. As a little kid.
Imagine if you actually said that, but then I think they would be like, this kid is whack.
Womba. They would have sectioned me. They would have. No, they
No,
wouldn't.
they wouldn't. That is fucking hilarious. And
It's
then I'm
terrible.
thinking of all the things that I've like done to as a child to get out of things, but I don't think I've actually gone that far.
Isn't that fucked?
To go to fucking surgery.
I feel really like bad about it, to be honest. It's something that I think
Yeah,
about.
taxpayers' money, duh.
Yeah, absolutely. And I probably took someone's
ATO,
bed.
if you're listening,
Yeah, but look, when I woke up, my uncle
come
Doug,
get him.
my uncle Doug was a wardsman at the hospital, and he was pushing me out. So I remember waking up out of recovery, and he was pushing me, and he was saying, "Oh, you're right," and he called me Nathan. "You're right, Nathan." I was like, "My name's Matthew." Thanks, Uncle Doug. Don't even know my name.
Oh, that's a key memory of your childhood.
It is, yes.
Bless.
But
Bless.
like, I feel like what a little shit to put my dad through it, to put my family through it, to put the doctor through it, to put Australia through it.
Kids,
the
like,
taxpayers'
they're
money.
manipulative as fuck, eh? Like, kids are just like, they will do anything.
They will, yeah. I would look in a doctor's eyes and say, "Oh, it's so sore."
And they believe you.
So tell me, what have you done to get out of work
Well,
or school?
This conversation started with me reflecting on all the jobs that I've had, like, as an adult. And in my early, like, 18 to sort of 21. Well, I've always been a person that has had, like, 3 or 4 jobs at the same time. Like, when I was in high school, I was, like, not only doing high school, I was doing TE, so, like, tertiary studies. I was also doing a vocational training, which is 1 day a week. So I was also having to do, like, do you know what I mean? I've had, like, jobs, and I used to work in a hospital, ironically, with and at an antenatal clinic, which is women giving birth.
Yeah, wow.
As like a,
What haven't you done? I
17-year-old.
feel like you've done
I've
everything.
done it all. Like,
You've done it
I've
all.
dabbled. So Target was my first, writing papers, Target, Boost Juice, Wendy's ice cream, hospital, antenatal clinic. Then I went to FMG, like a mining company.
Yep.
Then I went to AFL Sports Ready,
Mm-hmm.
Headspace. And then I worked for a trash company.
That's already like 10.
I know. The resume is impressive, though.
That's amazing.
But, like,
I'm proud of you.
You know, the reason why I sort of moved through jobs was because, like, I just knew that I was, like, better than them.
Thank you. Next.
In that time, I worked for a trash company, like a bins company. They collected all your bins.
Did you drive the truck?
I didn't drive the trucks, but I like the role was like doing the rostering, so basically doing the routes.
Why did I imagine you in those big fucking garbage trucks? Like, bruh, move over, bitches. Like, where your trash at, girl? With the music pumping and the like window down, like, yeah.
I've done a lot of things, but like this fucking job though kills me because it always reminds me of a time where I just couldn't, like, when you just can't face the music and you're just like, I can't, like, it's called avoidant.
Yeah.
And I at that stage was obviously like hugely avoidant, and my reaction or like my response was just never fucking go back. This job was like, I was actually signed a contract. I was there for like a couple of months. And then one day I just lied that I had chest pain or a chest infection. I can't remember which one it was. And they were like, no worries, like have the day off, like see you tomorrow. And then I was like, actually, like I'm going to have tomorrow off as well. And then it like went from like 2 days to 3 days. And then they kept calling me, being like, you're coming in. And then I was like, no, I'm still sick. And then eventually I just like not answered their calls.
You ghosted them.
I ghosted the trash company.
Because they were trash.
They were trash.
Were they?
I mean, I feel like years later, the actual boss like messaged me on LinkedIn and was like, saw you on The Bachelor. Hope you're doing well.
How's that chest infection? How's that chest infection?
Chest infection.
Did you get some cultural love?
Looking good. I was like, yeah. Because I moved from your company and I fucking made money.
Oh my God, that's
So I just didn't go back in. That period of my life, I was completely avoidant of my emotions, my feelings, my trauma, everything. And I'm like, I'm so much more better off and like so much more aware now.
Yeah.
But I was reflecting because I look back at those moments because I hold so much guilt for things that like don't really necessarily have an impact anymore. Like they don't, no one gives a fuck about them, but I hold on to things like things that I've possibly said to other people that I didn't mean. And it's just like something inherently that I would love to just like let go of and like not just like think about it. But I'm like, if I put it to paper, then, you know, I'll slowly by one kind of cross it out, you know? And one of the things I put was like, I was having a fucking laugh because I was like, who's just not gone back to work? Just been like,
but
fuck you guys.
So I'm like, what did they just realize that you ghosted them, or was there like an investigation into your whereabouts, or like have they put up missing person posters for you? Because like if somebody just stopped talking to me, I'd be like, especially as an employer, I'd be like, what happened? Where would they have rung your brothers? Or did they just accepted the fact that no, she's ghosted us? I
think like they kept calling and I just kept not answering, and then
I can't come in.
I pretty much like pretended that my phone had been lost, and I was just
the lie got bigger and bigger and bigger.
I know, that's what I mean. It gets like it.
You had to keep on putting things on top.
Yes, and I'm shit at lying. Like I'm actually now like I think because like lying in when I was in childhood kind of provided a bit of a safety for things. Like,
what did you lie about when you were a kid? Because I got a few things I could tell you.
So this is the thing, right? I hate liars and I don't lie very often. And if I do lie, I have to come clean in like the first week. And I think it's because younger Brooke would lie like, this is really sad. Like this is actually like, I'll go from the sad and then I'll like work my way up. But like my mum basically belted my brother and I. So that, you know, that we had a lot of domestic violence in our house and then a lot of abuse in the household. And, you know, I'm working through that because that also has an effect on you.
Yeah.
And my mum belted my brother and I, and my brother actually broke his arm.
Yep, I remember reading this.
Yeah, I wrote about this in my book because people would be like, well, she's an abusive mother. But she's not. She inherently was actually like, I was the cause of that because I was fighting with my brother and he like came after me with like something and then belted me and then I was upset.
Was doing what she always knew.
But yeah, and you know, it's people have different ways of disciplining, and I think my mum could be definitely pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And she's not here to defend herself now, but I'm like, I'm sorry, like that's the absolute truth. Like, you know, and I'm pretty raw with that. I'm like, no parent should hit their children, but I think in our household that was discipline, and I'm actually kind of fucked uply like grateful for it because I learned discipline. Like, and that also taught me not to lie. My mum and my nan were like, don't fucking lie to us. But I would always have to lie about things that they did to protect them as a child.
Wow.
So when my brother broke his arm at school, everyone's like, oh, how did Troy break his arm? How did Troy break his arm? And like I had to lie and be like, oh, he fell off his bike. And then my little fucking shit-headed brother was like,
Nah, mum flogged me.
Yep. And then bang, into foster care.
Yep.
Then that was the fear. Like the lying was driven by fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh my God, if I don't lie about these things, the consequences will happen and will be taken. And that, you know, that's inherently like something that I don't feel very proud of, but also at the same time, it was a survival mechanism and a coping mechanism.
And you know what? As kids, no matter what our parents do, all we want is love from them. So we will do anything to protect them.
To protect them, exactly. And to stay with family.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is kind of the spiraling of the lying. And then a lie when you're younger was also to like fit in.
Yeah.
To fit into, you know, like, oh, they'd be like, oh, where's your school lunch? And you'd be like, oh, my mum's like bringing me Hungry Jacks later. Or like chicken treat. Sorry, my mum's bringing chicken treat later.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you wouldn't have lunch because
That's right.
you wouldn't have money to have lunch.
Yeah.
Or your kids would be like, oh, they're shit shoes. And then you'd be like, well, I'm actually getting new shoes next week.
Yeah, they're on their way. We got them
I'm getting like this new pair of
from the
Etnies.
US. Yeah, like we,
you know, and so kids lie as a mechanism at times, as a defense mechanism or a way to fit in.
Yep.
Or even like, you know, a protection thing.
Yep.
So when I think of like that, you know, 20-year-old Brooke who was like lying, I was trying to cope. Like obviously there was something in that job that I just didn't like. And I was like, I'm fucking done with this job. And instead of, you know, learning the capabilities of like saying, hey, like I'm not really vibing this job, like I resign, like not knowing how to resign or to understand what that looks like or feels like.
Yep.
My thing was to abort mission and to run away.
Yeah.
And that tells me a lot about what that person was and who she was then, but she's not that now. Like I don't run away from my problems. I face them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's growth for sure.
For sure.
You reminded me of a couple of things. One, like these lies that I told.
Yeah, what did you lie
Okay, so I've got 3 scenarios that have come straight to my mind. One of these is quite trivial. It's so I really wanted to fit in my school, and I was still at Tamworth, and I was like before I moved to Sydney for boarding school, and the Rihanna and Chris Brown tour was on. And I told all my friends that I had tickets to the Rihanna and Chris Brown show. Absolutely fucking didn't. Couldn't afford that. There was no way that I was going to that concert. But I stayed home for 2 days from school and pretended that I went. And then I came back to school on the 3rd day and everyone was asking me about it. And I had to come up with the story of the concert because I told them I was going. So I was like, yeah, it was amazing, blah, blah, blah. Little did I know that there was a major incident that happened on the stage that night that everyone was talking about and that I should have seen and should have reported back, but I didn't know about it. So they were like...
So your lie was cracked.
Didn't you see this? And I was like, no, that didn't happen. And know what it was?
Rihanna
fainted on stage in Sydney at Rihanna and Chris Brown concert back in the day. This is about 2000, I want to say 2007, 2008.
Oh my God, that is so
She fainted
funny.
on stage. And so I came back with these amazing stories of this concert, but there was one detail missing. And it was the major incident of Rihanna fainting on stage. Everyone was like, you didn't go. Came out a couple of days later that I actually didn't go to the concert because the people who realised I was lying went on a witch hunt, found my brother, asked my brother. My brother told them the truth and was like, absolutely not. He didn't fucking go. He didn't go to Rihanna in Sydney.
Our family be out here like not, you know.
Our brothers be out here fucking us up. What the fuck?
Literally, just fucking go along with the
Go
story.
along with it. Like, come on. Loyalty over honesty.
Where's the loyalty?
So he fucked that lie up for me. So basically,
Fucking hell.
and then the second lie when I moved to boarding school that really comes to mind is that everyone's parents had really amazing jobs. And so one's dad was a QC who was Hugh Jackman's brother. So my best friend in high school was Hugh Jackman's nephew, Xander Jackman, and his dad was Ian Jackman, who's Hugh Jackman's brother. Yeah. So he's one, QC here, doctor over here, Dr. Cook, my other friend's mum. These friends' parents owned a wood chopping company. And I said, what does your dad do? And here I am walking through the schoolyard thinking, what can I tell these people that my dad does? I said, my dad's a detective. I told the boys at school that my dad was a detective.
Yeah.
How is that, where does that come from?
But I just think inherently what I just think what in your brains goes straight to detective
I thought, what's a cool job that like
is hidden.
that is
You
like
can't disclose.
well, not hidden, but
Smart.
but
Kind of smart.
but it is a little bit smart, but it's also like not like a really high level job. Like my dad's not going to be like a judge or like a fucking doctor, but like a detective is like up there, but not too up there.
Yeah.
And so
It's a step up from a police officer.
It's a step up from a police officer, and don't condone police. Like fuck them.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
But as a young black fella trying to be cool, my dad was a detective. And then all of a sudden parent-teacher night comes around and your dad comes to the school and your friends start asking them about their cool job and dad's looking at me like, what? Why do they all think I'm a police officer? Why are they asking if I carry my gun? My dad is a black fella who grew up stick picking and was picking fruit at the time at a farm that he worked on.
oh my God, my mum was a fruit picker too.
See? And like my dad, like hard worker and like earning like $100 a day picking fruit, not out here with a detective getting bad guys like boom, boom, boom. Put the gun down.
We're in the ghetto.
We're in the ghetto, but we're for real in the ghetto. Well, we are in the ghetto. We are ghetto.
And all your friends would be like, "Where's your gun?"
And all the shore boys were like, "Wow." Like once they realised that I was lying about my dad being a detective, like I went from kind of being a cool kid to like, nah, this guy's fucked. He's mentally crazy. Let's hang with him. Let him go. And so, so that was one. And then the other one.
Okay, the common trend here has been like, you've fucking bullied a lot. Now I want to go fight these because they're like, sorry.
But yeah. And then the only other one was I lied about my age to get a job. When I was 13 years old, I lied and said that I was 15 and I worked at a takeaway shop in Tamworth 3 nights a week. And so I used to go from end of year 7 and they used to think I was 14, 9 months. So I was 13. I would go from there and I would go straight from school and work at the takeaway shop. And I worked there for nearly 2 years. When I moved away and I had my 18th birthday, the owners of that business messaged me on Facebook. Shout out to the Corner Shack in Tamworth. I'm looking at the camera like it's live. But shout out to the Corner Shack because they gave me like $30 a night. She dropped me home after work with the boss and I got my $90 a week and that would help with my dad with like food and stuff and I would make sure that us boys had like actual food.
So
but
nice.
That $90 a week got me like good amount of food for school. Sometimes, like not having food, it was like the only way to be able to have food. But when I got to 18, when I had my 18th birthday, the owner of the business messaged me and said, wait, you're only 18 now? Like, she thought I was 18 2 years prior.
That's so funny.
So
but that's also a well-kept lie.
They're the 3 lies that I told that, like...
But they also got variety. Like, some grow into manifest into something else, and then some just, like, also, like, diffuse really quickly, but then you're like, fuck, why did I lie?
Why did I lie and get my appendix out?
Okay, so we've seen girl math, we've seen boy math, gay math. There's gay math.
Gay math.
Gay math.
Yep.
But have you ever heard of Blakfulla Math?
I have now. But I feel like I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, today we're bringing you
Blakfulla Math with mathematician Matt. Nah, so,
that's a good play on words.
That's a good... Ooh. I dropped math in year 10. Maths. I'm saying math like it's American. They say math. We say maths. I dropped maths in year 10. Did you drop maths?
I didn't drop maths, but actually, funny story, I did get my maths teacher dropped.
Oh.
Yeah. Child math. Get your maths teacher fired because he drew boobies on the whiteboard.
Oh, my God.
All right, well, let's get into Blakfulla Math. There's a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
So.
I know one.
Go.
What does black plus red plus yellow equal?
Flag.
Aboriginal flag. That's so dumb.
Blakfulla Math is like things that just make sense to blackfellas, you know? Things that like don't necessarily are logical, but they make sense.
Yeah.
So like Blakfulla Math equals Blakfulla time. Mm-hmm. So being late in their mind is being on time.
Yeah.
That's Blakfulla Math. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You know.
You know about that one, don't you?
Yeah. Praise God. Blakfulla Math is...
Brooke's always running on Blakfulla time.
Seriously.
What I hate is when blackfellas say that they're running on Blakfulla time, but like it's not 5 minutes. It's like it's literally like 2 hours.
2 hours.
It's like that ain't Blakfulla time. That's glacial pace. They're slow. Blakfulla time. Blakfulla time's like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. Like, and 10 minutes later you get there. But like 2 hours. Fuck off.
Blakfulla
time.
Okay, Blakfulla Math is literally asking for a loan,
Yes.
but never paying them back.
Yes. I have a lot of cousins like this.
True. That's why you stopped giving them the loans. Blakfulla Math is turning up to a party where you know no one, but leaving with 24 newfound cousins.
Boy, that's true.
True.
True as God.
True as God. Blakfulla
Blakfulla
Math.
mullets? No, don't.
Blakfulla Math is saying true as God.
True as God. But not believing in God. True as God, but not believing in God. Yes. Blakfulla Math is saying something is deadly, but meaning it's good.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Yep.
That's why the people are like, deadly.
That's deadly.
Scary.
Like scary? No. That's mad.
Good. It's mad.
That's deadly.
Blakfulla Math is saying true as my nan cross counts.
Dead. That's fun. That's good.
Blakfulla Math.
That is good. No.
Oh,
No,
shit, I'm actually crying over that.
Blakfulla Math is swear mothers. Swear mothers. That is. What else is Blakfulla Math?
Blakfulla Math is honestly calling everyone your auntie and uncle, even if they're not even related to you. Like white Auntie Joan is your auntie, but she white.
True as God.
True as my name, Chris Cow.
I'm dead. Okay, no. Blakfulla Math is making a charcuterie board, but just having Devon on it.
And you're the only one eating it. That's the thing.
Okay, Blakfulla Math.
Blakfulla Math is getting like Devon or fish and chips or whatever and using the paper as a plate.
As a plate. Rolling it up in a cone. Oh, that's deadly. Yes.
I got some more. Okay, ready? Blakfulla Math is when they're not married, but they married up.
Yes. Spot on. She married up, eh? When did they get married? They never got married. What are you talking about?
Married. Blakfulla Math is married doesn't mean married.
Married doesn't mean married. Blakfulla Math is using whole as a description word for everything. Like big ole. Or like
Black hole.
Black hole.
Like Blakfulla Math is literally using big ole as
a compliment.
a description of someone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Describing words.
Yep.
As an adjective. Oh, fuck. That actually killed me.
Wait, Blakfulla Math.
When you turn up to a prees with no alcohol but leave the drunkest. That's just everyday math.
That's math. That math is mathing. The math is mathing.
The math is mathing.
Yep. Blakfulla Math is shouting everyone on payday and then being broke for the rest of the week.
Literally.
Now, Blakfulla Math is kissing someone who you don't know and then
finding out
that's your cousin.
Literally.
Oi, Blakfulla Math.
I'm literally thinking back in my household now.
Mm-hmm. Blakfulla Math is
go. Blakfulla Math is using a sheet as a curtain.
Oi, I don't know how many white people have done that. That's real unique.
Oi, That's
Rach,
so funny.
have you ever used a sheet as a curtain? No, she hasn't. Blakfulla Math is never owning a top sheet. Getting a set of sheets and just all fitted sheets.
fucking hell.
That's good. That's good. Using
a
sheet
sheet as a kid.
curtain.
That takes me back to the hood.
That's deadly. And you would know because they wouldn't even have a rod. They'd just tie it just to the hook.
No, we would nail it. Nail the thing.
Nail the thing in.
nail it.
Wow.
Um,
Blakfulla Math is having 2 mattresses in the lounge room and having 20 cousins sleep on it.
yeah.
Yeah, like all over.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
as the couch.
Yeah.
You got one bed,
24 cousins, 24/7.
one couch, 17 cousins. Blakfulla Math. It just works. Blakfulla Math is, you put that green mesh at the front of the house and you'd water it down and it'd cool the house down. Do you remember that?
Yes, what are they
Blakfulla
called?
Math is literally watering down
Watering your house.
your fly screen so
Yeah.
that it would cool down your whole house.
Blakfulla Math is my brother calling right now.
Let's come next week with some more Blakfulla Math. And if you've got Blakfulla Math, that makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't make
Send
sense.
Send it in.
Send it in. All right, well,
Wow.
that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening to Not So PG, guys. And if you love us, leave us a 5-star rating and a little review, maybe even a donut, who knows. If you want to tell us something, you can follow us on our socials and slide into the DMs.
Not so PG Math is leaving a donut in the reviews. My handle is at It's Matty Mills and Brooke's handle is at Brooke.Blurton, and you can follow all the Nova Podcast action over at Nova Podcast Official. All right.
Bye.
See ya.